Good morning, ladies. I'm Sarah McGinnity, owner of Kansas City Mom Collective, and we are so excited you are joining us for Deck the Walls this morning. We had so much fun making our fresh wreaths last year and kicking off the holiday season, and so we're ready to do it again. We're going to get started in just a little bit, but before that, we wanted you to hear from a few of our executive team members about what you can expect.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Deck the Walls. We are so excited to have you. Most of you follow us already on social media, but if you haven't, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. During the event today, we would love it if you took pictures and shared them. Make sure you tag us so we can reshare, and use hashtag DeckTheWallsKC. We look forward to seeing everyone's wreaths. Have fun. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Sharita, Community Manager for Kansas City Mom Collective. So I'm here today to talk about a special sponsor that we have this year, Red Door Home Store. You guys, they have a beautiful seasonal pop-up that's going on now through December 31st at Town Center Plaza. So please make sure you make your way over there to see them and spend some time there during the holiday season. Thanks so much.
Hi everybody, I'm Laura, Kansas City Mom Collective Sales Director, and I'm so happy that you joined us today. I just wanted to pop on and say hi and tell you a little bit about our holiday events guide that we have on our website. It's sponsored by one of our favorite places in Kansas City, Crown Center, and lists all the amazing things there is to do to create magical holiday memories with your family. We also have the Shop KC guide with some of our local favorite shops and products around town. And don't forget to join us for our Cruisin' with Santa Claus event. We have 3 locations around the metro for your family to drive through and have a fun Santa experience, all from the comfort of your car. You don't even have to get out and deal with those kids. It's sponsored by our friends at the Pediatric Center at Overland Park Regional and Price Chopper. See you there.
Hi friends, I'm Megan Coffey. I'm one of the co-hosts for Kansas City Momcast, our new podcast that we just launched. We would love for you to listen wherever you listen to podcasts. It's just another way to reach you and connect with you and other Kansas City moms and all things local. You'll hear from experts in the field, such as local therapists and pediatricians and women in politics and more. So we would love for you to join us. Plug in your AirPods or your earbuds, and we would love for you to join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Young, Events Director for Kansas City Mom Collective. Thank you for joining us this morning. For all of you who are enjoying that delicious brunch box, we hope you've got that Irish cream and that coffee. We hope you're eating that charcuterie. It's so delicious. Thank you so much to the following brunch box sponsors for sponsoring our brunch box today. And now, without further ado, it is time to create our beautiful fresh greenery wreaths. Andrea Grist is joining us from Red Door Home Store this morning. Andrea is with Florasource KC and KC Bloom Hub. She is the executive floral designer. She creates beautiful work, her and her team, all across the city. And she's gonna walk us through how to make those fresh greenery wreaths this morning. So don't forget to show us your wreaths online, and let's deck the walls.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Deck the Walls. I am Andrea with Florasource KC and the KC Bloom Hub, and today we're going to show you how to make a fresh greenery wreath. So by now you should have everything that you need to make a fresh evergreen wreath. You've got your cluster of evergreen, and in this bag you've got some pine cones, and then also you have some bark wire. This is going to be really important because this is what is going to wrap your wreath and get it all put together. So, oh, and I forgot this, you've got your wreath form as well. So what we want to do first is create small clusters of evergreen that we're going to lay on our wreath, and that is what is going to create our wreath. So when you're getting ready to make your fresh greenery clusters, I wanted to make sure that we want to use every piece of evergreen that we have received today in our kits. So here's a sample of the fresh cedar. With your clippers, just remember that you can cut like a section like this into 2 different sections. So just kind of in the middle. You can use all of these little bits. So don't let any of the bits go to waste.
While you work on snipping your greens, take a moment to listen to Lena Jones from Graze and Gather KC. She's going to tell us how to have a fun charcuterie board this holiday season.
Hello, I'm Lena Jones, the owner of Graze and Gather KC, and today I'm going to be showing you some tips to make a great holiday charcuterie board in your own home. So I made a charcuterie board to show you some options. Today we have featured cranberries as our featured flavor. You'll notice that we have 4 different cheeses on this board. It's really important to choose different textures when you're choosing your cheeses. You don't want to have all really hard cheese on your board, and you don't want to have all really soft cheeses on your board. So today I've chosen an aged Gouda, which gives us that nice firm, strong flavor. And kind of to counteract it, I've chosen a cranberry cinnamon goat cheese that'll be nice and creamy, great to spread on your crackers. You'll also notice we went with some pomegranate seeds. This is a great way to add that nice red color to make it look a bit Christmassy, and it will add yet another texture to your charcuterie board. We've also added dried figs. I love a good pun, and I like to play on words. So when Christmas songs say, bring us some figgy pudding, I thought I would bring you some dried figs instead. So that is some ways that you can spice up your charcuterie board this holiday season.
So I started already doing a few. Right now, well, in most of your evergreen clusters, you've got juniper, you've got cedar, and you also have fir. So 3 different textures, 3 different colors. It's gonna make for a really interesting wreath. So what you wanna do first, I've started doing this already, but you wanna take your clusters and do just what we had talked about, where you take a little piece of your barbed wire, cut a little bit, and then you're gonna grab a couple little stems and wire them together. Just kind of wrap that barbed wire around and then twist it on the back side. So what you're gonna do is create all these little clusters, which then we're going to use to lay on our wreath, like that, so that we start to begin building the wreath and putting it together. So again, I started getting out ahead of this a little bit, but right now I'm gonna finish those clusters. I think that the sample wreath that I did right here, I used the same materials that you all have in your kits, and I used 16 clusters of fresh evergreen. So here's a sample of one of them. So if you want to get to work and do 16 of them, then at that point we'll put our wreath together, and using our barbed wire, I had more together than I thought. You're fine. Okay, so hopefully now you have all 16 of your evergreen clusters ready to go, and now you're about ready to assemble your wreath. So all I did is just laid them out. And remember, not all of them are gonna be the same. Some of them are gonna, stick out a little bit more than others, but in the end, that's gonna make your wreath very textural and look really pretty. So now what we're gonna do is take our wreath form. You're gonna take the bark wire and basically take that wire and just twist it on, almost like a twisty tie, right onto the wreath. What that's gonna do is give you a good base so that when you start assembling your evergreen onto the wreath, then it'll give it something to stick to. So this is kind of gonna be a mess for a minute until you start working with that, getting that wire down a little bit. So I'm left-handed, and I'm only telling you that because everybody tells me that I turn things the wrong way or that I lay things the wrong way. So this is really what's more comfortable for you. If it makes sense for you to lay them a certain way or to twist your bark wire over the top or under, whichever way works for you is the best. So what I'm gonna do is lay it down this way, right at the end of my first cluster. I'm gonna put right where that bark wire is. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of throw it through the middle there, wrap it around. So what you're gonna do is add different clusters of your greenery and then wrap your bark wire around as you go. And then you're gonna fill in your wreath that way. So the second cluster, I'm just gonna lay, and all these clusters are laid out, so just kind of grab whichever one, doesn't really matter. You're gonna layer it over the top like that, hold it with one of your thumbs, pull your bark wire up over it to secure it into place. And I'm just gonna keep doing that all the way around my wreath. Again, that bark wire, I would maybe try to keep it in a circle, which it came in a circle in your supply bag, so maybe keep that together so it's easier for you to maneuver. So see kind of how that top corner is coming together. Lay it up against the wreath and then hold it with one of your thumbs. And bring that bark wire up and over. And you're just gonna keep doing that all the way around your wreath. Hold it with your thumb. Make sure to pull that bark wire tight because that's what's holding it on to that wreath form. Just one cluster at a time. See how that's coming together? start to get near the end, you kind of want to make sure you've got enough green. So I'm going to make sure that I spread them out a little bit. Make sure that I've got enough clusters to make it all the way around. Remember, if you kind of have them spread out, this is where you could put pine cones, or if you have little holes here and there, this is where you can add some embellishments later on. The end, when you're at the end of your wreath and you have all 16 of your clusters on there, you want to just cut your bark wire, and you're going to wrap it around that last set of greens, and then you're going to take it around the back and just twist it around your wreath form so it's secure. Then kind of look at your wreath a little bit. This is where you might have to kind of move some of those little pieces around. You might have to shape your wreath form just a little bit because it might have bent while you were moving your wire around. And now we have the base to our wreath, and we can add our pine cones next.
While you continue to assemble your wreath, take a moment to hear from Jesse at Red Door Home Store. He's going to tell us how to create a beautiful tablescape this holiday season. Red Door Home Store's seasonal pop-up is open now through December 31st at Town Center Plaza.
Hi there, I'm Jesse with Red Door Home Store, and we are excited this year to be back at Town Center Plaza, offering our everyday home decor, seasonal decor items, and just lots to get you in the holiday spirit. So we're glad to be a small part of your program today. I thought I'd do a little demonstration, a little talk about some tablescape ideas as you're thinking about the holidays and entertaining and setting your table for those holiday dinners. So we have this festive setting here, and we just started with we love plaid at Red Door, so when you come in you'll see a lot of different plaids that we offer, but we've just started with a plaid throw. So if you find your favorite throw, it doesn't have to be plaid, but obviously with the traditional reds and greens we're trying to bring in. Obviously you want a nice centerpiece. This piece is nice because you can change it out with the seasons. Here we've just used some winter greens and some berries and some icy sticks, and then these little miniature ornaments. So it's really fun, and after the holidays you can take the berries out, and this piece could get you through all winter. So that sort of makes your statement on the table. And as far as your place setting is concerned, we start with just the simple placemat, and we're going to add some different textures. So we're going to add this red berry wreath. It has these fun little pine cones, and it ties in with the red berries that we're using in our centerpiece. We just have a simple, just kind of white plate. And then we're going to use two different napkins, cloth napkins, red, that we're just going to take and sort of center down the plate. We still want our greens and our red berries to show. And then we're going to set another plaid, and notice that our plaids aren't matching, and they don't need to match. They need to have some similarities, but certainly you can mix plaids. And we're gonna set that at kind of an angle, and then find your favorite little accent plate. And this happens to be Spode. This is the 2021 edition that they've just come out with, and they're fun, and they've added these little green polka dots and the red. And then we're going to just add that in the center, and you could do a little party favor. We've got this little tree that's in this fun little tin that we're going to use as a little nameplate to welcome our guest to their place setting. So very festive, and brings the season together, and for your entertaining and your fun dinners that you have this time of year. So We hope that's helpful, and thank you.
Okay, so there you go. After you've put all 16 of your clusters on your wreath form and you've used your bark wire to put them all together, then congratulations, you now have a wreath. And what we can do now is add our embellishments and our pine cones and fun stuff like that, and you can personalize it just for your home. So in your kit, you've got a little bag that has some pine cones in there. Go ahead and take those out. And what we want to do is add our pine cones to our wreath using just a small amount of our bark wire, maybe 6 inches worth. You're going to wrap it around the base of your pine cone just once. Same idea as your evergreen clusters. Give it a little twist. And what you're going to do is take those 2 edges, those 2 little tips there, and find a place on your wreath where it looks good for a place for a pine cone. So on my wreath, I see a little bit of a hole, kind of right there. So that's where I'm going to put this one. And you can decide however you want it, whether you want the top facing up or out, or if you want it to curve with the wreath, you decide. So what I'm going to do is kind of feel around a little bit and find my wreath form underneath my evergreen where I can twist that bark wire around. Just twist it around like that. Move your evergreen around a little bit and kind of shape it where you want it. There you go. All right, so you've got 3 cones in your kits for today. But also just remember, there's lots of things. We're going to show you a few here in just a minute that you can use to embellish your wreath even further so that you can personalize it for your home. So I'm going to take the 3rd pine cone. Again, take those 2 little tails. Feel through that evergreen to try to find your wreath form. That's really the best thing to wire it to. Find those tails and then give it a twist. And then kind of put your evergreens around it and kind of turn that pine cone whichever direction you want it to go. Okay, so you should have all of your pine cones on now. So we're in a little bit different spot than we were last year. We're at the Red Door Home Store. So I've kind of was playing around before we started filming and I found a couple of things to embellish your wreath. So remember that after you're done, you can use ribbon in any color. Like let's say you've got burgundy or red or green in your home. You can use any of these ribbon embellishments to add little snippets of ribbon to your wreath. And then I also found these really fun picks. So some of these picks have other smaller pine cones on there. There's glitter on some of them and frost on some of them, different berries on some. So a lot of times when you're just embellishing a wreath, you can simply push the pick into the wreath. You really don't even have to wire it to anything. So remember that when you see, like maybe you're somewhere and you see a little sprig of berries or something like that. We want our pine cones and our evergreen wired to the wreath, but when we do our embellishments, we're just gonna kind of stick them in here. So this is a little pick that has some glitter on there and maybe some like little icicles. You just want to make sure that however you stick your pick, you're going to, that green's going in the same direction as your fresh evergreen. So I'm just going to shape it just a little bit. And all of the picks kind of have a pointy tip. So I'm going to kind of shove it down, work it around a little bit. And these picks are all faux evergreen, so you're kind of mixing your fresh evergreen and your faux evergreen. So you want to kind of play around with it a little bit so that the fresh evergreen kind of weaves into the faux evergreen part. These are really fun too. Little berries. Take it even a step further here and add some additional color and texture to our wreath by adding these berries, which look like they have little like icicles on them, and also some other white berries.
I don't know why.
So we're finishing up embellishing our wreath with some picks. I'm gonna finish up here. And then we're gonna finish it off with a little bit of ribbon here from the Red Door Home Store. So there you go, it's really coming together. We've got some beautiful picks that have frost and some icicles and white berries and clusters. And we've got that all mixed together with our fresh evergreen. And then we're gonna finish it off with some ribbon. When you're adding a bow to a wreath, it's really best to use a wired ribbon. So what I like to do is kind of hold it with one hand and make a loop. And twist it. And this is something you can shape when you're done. So just for now, make a loop, twist it. And what you're gonna do is take that little piece of bark wire, do the same thing you did with your evergreen clusters. Pull it really tight and give it a twist. Then, since we've got this wired ribbon, you can shape your loops. So they're ready for your wreath. Then we're gonna pick a spot on our wreath that looks like a good spot. See a little bit of a hole here, so that's where my bow is gonna go. You can always add another little tail if you want to by using one of the sticks from your evergreen. Take the ends, just kind of use a little bit of that bark wire. Just twist your loop in there. Same thing like what you did with your picks. Find a little spot in there. And your tails. Put it around a little bit.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Don't forget to tag us on social media with Deck the Walls KC. And from all of us at Kansas City Mom Collective to you, happy holidays!